Well, hello, Pisces. Always last but not least, and I can say that for sure. I want to thank you for joining my channel. If you have not subscribed, I hope that you will, because I have a lot of great stuff coming this summer. By the way, my name is Chrystallynn, Cowgirl Astrologer, and I'm super excited to really come in and talk to you guys about what's going on for the month of July. Now, don't tell anybody, but those of you who've been watching my channel might already know Pisces is one of my favorite signs. I have a Pisces rising and a moon in Pisces. Yeah. So I just feel like every time I get to Pisces, I have such an important message to share because I really understand how misunderstood we can be. And right now, there's so much going on around us. I want you guys to be prepared. You know, it's something that I always want to expand more on, but I think I'll share a little bit right now. It's very intense, and this goes for all the water signs, but it's very intense in having relationships, Piscean relationships, Neptunian relationships, because we are so intense. And when we get involved with people, it's often very difficult to not lose ourselves, to hang on to who we are. Where do we start and where do they end, or where do we end and where do they start? And when relationships go bad, it takes us a long time to recover, and it can take a lot of time out of our lives. When you look back and you think of your dreams and your visions and the things you've wanted to do, and you might even be asking yourself, have I been derailed? And why am I not there? I have all these dreams and visions, but I'm still swimming through these deep waters. And we look at the different situations in our life that came along and, took us off track. It's because we are very easily distracted by emotional things, by people that come into our lives that, we don't have a very good shield. We don't always have good boundaries because Neptune dissolves boundaries. Neptune is all about dissolving boundaries. So when we look at the Pisces and we say, you guys need boundaries, well, we deal with a strong energy that's always seeking to dissolve the boundaries. So how do we really, manage that? Because if we don't have boundaries, then we can lose our lives in the big sea, the big ocean. And right now is a very important time for us because Neptune is retrograde in Pisces right now. And when a planet like this goes retrograde, it's really going to allow us to see even more. It's like the dust has settled, and it'll also help us deal with deception around us. Pisces, there's a lot of deception around us right now. Okay. There's a lot of energy. There's a lot of situations because we can't see ourselves. We have a really hard time seeing our identity and our ideas and our inspiration. We give it so freely that, again, sometimes we can give it all away that it dissolves. And then we feel kind of flat. We feel undermined. We feel, like we've, how do we get that back? And we look around us and, we have all these situations going on. We have to be really, really careful right now because Mars and Lilith are conjunct in Scorpio. That's our 9th house of spirituality. It can also represent our father or father issues, authority issues, spiritual leaders. And so people can come in right now that present themselves to us as spiritual leaders. But because Scorpio's there and Mars and Lilith are there, there can be deception. Okay, I like to talk about all the wonderful things about astrology, but I also like to be really honest. Because if we don't understand and we don't have a plan and we don't have strategy and we don't know who the enemy is, we're going to get lost. We're going to get that little fishy that just gets eaten up by a shark, okay? One thing that's beautiful about being the fish is that we can slither in and out of situations, not like the snake, but slip, I should say. And we can move in and out of situations, and sometimes we need to swim out the back door. All right, if you have situations in your life, ask yourself this question, whether it's a relationship, a job, a situation. When I leave that, when that situation ends, am I more energized or am I drained? If you're being drained by situations, you need to make some serious black and white changes right now. Because Neptune is in our sign and we are the front runners for amazing creativity. You know, Neptune rules the movies. Neptune rules that side that we can take a story and make it into this incredible on the screen movie. You know, we have this ability to manifest and make something that's very mundane into an incredible story. And that's what Neptune does, is it brings color to black and white. And it takes everything we have to stay focused and put our energy into that. But when we do, there is no stopping us. So we are one of the number one empaths. So it's very easy for us, like I said, to get absorbed in everybody else's stuff. We're in a lot of water energy in the month of July. The new moon, we're going to have a stellium in Cancer. Sun, moon, Mercury, Venus. Cancer rules our fifth house. That's our creativity, fueling our expression. You want to take advantage of this. Mars, we want to see the positive side of Mars, the exciting side of Mars. We don't want to be dealing with, you know, here we are again, another one of these toxic relationships, trying to swim out of the situation. Cut that baby off. We are not responsible for everybody's life. They have to live out their own karma, their own lessons, you know? And if we interrupt that by trying to play that savior role that we're so good at, makes us feel good, but sometimes it's a distraction because we are so feely that we can do something that feels good, but it may not really be really good. Okay? We have to really get focused. Now, the good news is Jupiter is still in Virgo in our 7th house of relationships, fueled by the North Node. So the relationships coming in right now are going to have a very Virgo nature. People coming in to help us get focused. People coming in to say, hey, you got to pull all this together. We have to put it in a package. Because otherwise we can, I mean, we're just happy living that dream, whether it ever happens or not. But you know what? We all got to pay the bills, right? Pisces, we know, we really don't care so much about money. I mean, we could live in any situation and make it a dream. All right, I'm out here right now, and a good friend of mine gave me this cool RV, and I'm going to be turning it into my little gypsy wagon, my little she shed, and I'm decorating it. And, and I laughed. I think, it's probably really hokey, but as a Pisces, I just think it's just the bomb to be able to come out here and write and be alone, and it's got wood ceilings, and think about, creating it, making my space. But we need to do that right now because Neptune going retrograde is calling us in to our sanctuary. The cool thing is, and people laugh at Pisces all the time because, we could be looking at you, but we could be totally in another world. Have you ever done that? Like people are talking to you and like you're going, uh-huh, mm-hmm. Yeah, you're saying like perfect timing, but you're like literally in a completely different world. And then all of a sudden you come back and you're like, oh my God, I hope they didn't notice. Like you wonder, like, do my eyes just go blank or like I just go off and then I come back and they're usually still talking. They don't even notice, I pick up where where I left off. But that ability to escape in any situation is also a gift because we can be doing one thing and be gaining insight and creativity and spiritual concepts to fuel the situation. We're always taking in information. Pisces is born, I truly believe, with an umbilical cord straight to heaven, and the spiritual side, the other side. So it takes a lot for us to stay grounded. You know, we would rather be in that world. It's safer, it's more comfortable, it's our sanctuary. We can create a sanctuary anywhere we are. And that is a tool. You know, that is a defense mechanism. And sometimes we need it, or we can go into another world in uncomfortable situations. But in our day and age and in our life, you know, like I said, we got to deal with being grounded. This Virgo energy in our 7th house of business relationships, partners, marriage, you know, besties, whatever is important to you right now. You can really have some good teams. You can put partners together and do some amazing work. And sometimes we need someone to hold us accountable. We need someone to give us a timeline. We need someone to say, hey, you know, can you have this to me by this day? And those are the people coming in. So if you start finding that you've got, you know, more commitments and more timelines, welcome that energy. It's going to help you stay focused. Do not be afraid to make some really strong boundaries for your life right now. Because if you don't, you'll get washed up. And I mean, these are the things I'm dealing with too. I spend a lot of time telling everyone about my ideas, and then the next thing I know, they're all running off with them, and I'm sitting here going, I haven't done one thing, you know, and I lost it. It's like, no, you know, sometimes you got to keep things like with the lid on top and not let it brew, not give it away. We're so open, and we love to share, and we get caught up in conversations. It's time to be a little more private right now. With Mars and Lilith in Scorpio, we have to be a little more protective of our time, of our worlds, of our life. You know, claim who you are, because we have Sagittarius in our 10th house. Saturn is in Sagittarius retrograde. Saturn is teaching us some hard-ass lessons right now about, you know, what our message is and do we really want this? Sagittarius is about, you know, world renowned, about going across the world, across the seas. And it's about having a message. Pisces, we have the message right now. All right. Pluto's in Capricorn, retrograde in our 11th house, where our gurus, our teachers, our dreams, our wishes. 11th house is an awesome place for money. So Pluto right now is retrograding, showing us, look, if you want creative freedom, you want this freedom, nobody telling you nothing, nobody telling you what time to be there. You got to be creative enough to make the money to be able to live that dream. And we have that ability, okay? It's in our spiritual life. We have Gemini in our 3rd house. That's writing, publishing, communicating, okay? We have so much, so much. I'm sorry, we have Gemini in our 4th house. I'm a Pisces rising, and Gemini is in my 3rd and 4th house. So and for some of you, you may have that too. If you have Gemini in your 3rd house, we've had Mercury there. It's the tail end. But whatever you have been working on this last month is going to continue forward. But for those of you who have Gemini in your 4th house, that's a home business. That is a home business. And, you know, here I am talking, communicating in my little home RV, because this is where I'm free and comfortable. And I like to just be able to take something and, you know, take nothing and make something. That makes me happy. So guess what? I'm doing what makes me happy, but it allows me to really think about a home-based business. And it's time for Pisces to really get smart, okay? And be careful right now with Neptune retrograde, wanting to call you back into old patterns, have you escape. You know, we've got to take care of our health right now. Jupiter's in our 6th house. I'm sorry, our 7th house of relationships. I'm sorry, you guys. This is my 12th video, so bear with me. I know you guys can handle it. And I keep having this little itch. And it's like, oh, Pisces moment. I had to do it. Yeah, Jupiter and the North Node are there right now, you guys. So Jupiter is luck and expansion. In our 7th house, partnerships, we need other people right now to pull this off. But be careful of who the people are, because we need really solid people and people we can trust and people we can be ourselves. But sometimes, you know what? We have to just put business where business is, and then we have our few trustees. You know, we have to kind of rein it in that we're not giving it all away to everybody, because people take, and we don't count the cost very well. We just give it away, and then afterward we're like, why am I so drained and everybody else is all full of energy? Okay, it's time for us to take that energy and self-nurture. Our health is really important right now because of the way that the vibration is rising. And it's really, if you haven't seen, I did a video on the Grand Cross a few weeks ago, and I go into some actual practical ways of taking care of our health using herbal remedies. Our bodies are super sensitive. So if you're feeling tired, drug out, depressed, hormonal, emotional, just flat, you know, we have Saturn squaring us. We've been in the middle of this square. Virgo's opposing us. We've had Gemini on the other side, not being really easy on us. We're just coming out of it. And as we move into July, especially the new moon, Sun, Moon, Mercury, Venus, a stellium with Mars and Scorpio, full-blown water, Neptune. It's a beautiful water trine in July. Okay, that's our moment. We know how to swim. We know how to shapeshift. We know how to change into whatever we need to be. That's our defense. Sometimes you need a good defense, but you got to know your enemy. I'm sorry to say it. I'd love to be pie in the sky with you guys, and I've done it. Rose-colored glasses, can't happen. All right, Neptune retrograde is going to show us the truth. And that may mean that we have to make some serious decisions. And there's a lot of nebulous people around us, because you know what? I'm going to say this, and I'll end with this in this particular video. Not everybody has the ability to self-create, to self-generate themselves, to transform themselves, to become whatever needs to be. We have that gift. And with Neptune fueling it in this 14-year transit that we're in, that we've already been in it for a couple of years, you know, people want that. How do you have that confidence to just be in your own space and be alone and love it? Because not very many people can be alone and love it. But when we're alone is when we're creating. And so if people can come along and take your space, they can diminish your creativity. And for a Pisces that's not thriving in their creativity, it's death to us. So it's not about being selfish, it's about being empowered. And it's about living your full creativity and your destiny that you were given at the moment of birth. We're not responsible for everybody else, for their emotional well-being. We can't fix their problems. All we can do is be an example of what it means to live in this beautiful spiritual place and have this ability, you know, to self-propel ourselves. Pisces is the 12th sign of the zodiac. We've already been here, done that. It's like we have to come back down to earth just to try to live in this world, but in our hearts and our minds, we've already done all this. We're above it all. And I don't mean that in an egotistical way. I just mean in a spiritual, subconscious way. You know, we don't want to play games. We don't want to waste our time in these situations. And yet, somehow we're the ones that get dragged into it the most, right? So, time to get really serious. Time to step in. Time to take our space. We have Leo in the 6th house of hidden enemies and our daily routine and our work. Don't forget that lioness side in you, or that lion, that king, that queen, rules your 6th house of getting stuff done and being the leader of your creative ideas. Do not let anybody take them. Okay? All right, you guys. If you'd like a private reading, I go to my website. I have private readings through Skype. I also have a special right now for July for the first 25 people to take advantage of my 15-minute audio reading. I send you a private audio reading, and I go specifically by your chart. I answer your specific questions. I customize it for you, and specific dates and times, taking us into the end of the year. And you'd be amazed how much information I can give you in 15 minutes. So I will also have a sample reading on my website if you want to check that out. I hope you guys take advantage of it, because I want us Pisces swimming their little sharky fin on. Sometimes we need to just get really focused. All right? Love you guys. Have a great July, and hope to hear from you.